In this practice, we're going to be focusing on bringing in the new qualities that we want to embody, the new habits that we want to establish. And it may not be all of a sudden everything at the same time. Ideally, we want to go step by step. So we're going to ground in our new beginnings, in our new ways of thinking, of believing, of doing things, and that are more aligned with where we want to go. So come and join me on your mat, take your seat with your spine nice and straight, and you can place your hands on your lap, palms facing up, and close your eyes. And we're going to begin breathing a little bit more deep and more subtle than we're used to. Feel as if you could pull every little molecule of oxygen into your body ever so gently. And feel how the exhale is just as gentle and also deep, to the point where we have no more breath left inside. Start softening your forehead, your eyebrow center. Relax your cheeks, your temples, your jaw. Relax your tongue. Relax your neck, your throat. Relax your shoulders, arms, forearms, and hands. Keep on relaxing your chest, letting the inhale and the exhale be expansive in the chest and in the belly, letting the belly also untighten, relax, expand. Relaxing your upper back, middle back, lower back. Relaxing your hips, your glutes, your groin area. Continuing down the thighs. Relaxing the knees, the calves, the shins, all the way to the heels and all the way to the toes. Taking a moment to sense your body coming to its natural relaxed state. To whatever degree it's available to you right now. On a coming inhale, you're going to bring your palms joined together in front of your heart space. And connecting from here, you're going to set your intention for your practice. Intentions help us keep ourselves focused and mindful to where we want to go. So instead of doing anything, like it could be this practice or your day-to-day work life, if you're focused on what you want to nourish, it helps us stay more mindful as we do it. So set your intention. It can be just for this practice, or it can continue throughout your day. And keep your intention in mind as I open the space of our practice with a mantra. Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahe Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahe. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. On the following exhale, you can release your hands back onto your lap, and when you feel ready, you can reconnect with your 5 senses and open your eyes. As you open your eyes, take just a moment to notice where you're at. So take a look around your space, noticing the shapes, the colors, the play of light and shadow, of textures that is around you. Bringing in that quality of noticing with curiosity without trying to judge or name. Or name, it's okay, but not judge and like say this is wrong or bad. Maybe you have a lot of mess around your room and it's fine. This quality of presence, of noticing, is going to accompany us throughout our practice. So let's begin. We're going to inhale, do our shoulder rolls inside, noticing the movement from inside. And the breath will follow in a very gentle and deep way. Moving the shoulders now the other way around. And relax. We're going to interlace our fingers and place them behind our heads. Open the elbows quite some and open the chest. Feel the length created in your neck. So we're not crunching in the shoulders, but we're opening the neck, relaxing also the head. It's kind of like we're placing it down back towards our hands. Now on the coming exhale, you're going to tuck in the elbows, the chin towards the chest. Now I want you to really try and create like a lock. This is called a lock in yoga, in your throat, meaning the chin goes as close as possible to the mostly the throat more than the chest, and you're locking here like you're creating a little bit of restriction on your throat. As you do so, you don't press too much with your hands. Just let the weight of your hands and arms just guide the head downwards without pushing. And feel here the back of the neck expanding. Tucking the chin also almost even upward a little bit. Now on the coming inhale, rise up. And then open the elbows quite some and look up. Rest your head on your hands. Feel the opening of the chest. Feel the shoulder blades coming in together. Take some deeper breaths as you feel the front side of your body expanding here. Let's come back to neutral spine. Keep the hands where they are. And now exhale, you're going to bend to one side. Feel which muscles are working to keep you upright while you're leaning to one side. Inhale, center. Exhale, other side. One more breath here. And center. We're going to join the 4 points, moving in those 4 directions in a kind of like, in a more flowy way. So, coming down in front, then moving to the side, open the top elbow, move to the back, look front, other side, and then gently crunching in to tuck in, and continue doing that round. We're mostly moving our top part of the body. The bottom one is just kind of distributing the weight around it so that as we move to one side, to the front, to the back, it just helps us with the stability. Let's do one more towards this side. Then when we come down, we're going to switch and do the same thing on the other side. So really feel your shoulders, your shoulder blades here, following those upper circles. Remember that the elbows don't stay closed, but they open when you go to the back, and they start closing as you move to the center. The breath can also follow that pattern where we're opening the chest as an inhale, and when we lean to the front, crunching in, it's an exhale. Last one. We meet down and then we release. Let's do a couple more shoulder rolls backwards. And down. Now we're going to move a little bit more subtly the vertebrae, the top vertebrae in our cervical area, here in our neck. So you're going to imagine that you have a pencil at the tip of the nose and you're going to draw a small infinity sign in front of you with your nose. It's a small, gentle movement. And I want you to almost feel your skull, your cranium, kind of floating in space to create that infinity sign. Feel how there's little effort coming from you. It's more a mindful attention to create those very beautiful infinity signs. Very symmetrical. And feel, if you can, connect with the vertebrae that are holding the skull, that are allowing this movement to be so gentle. Now let's move and switch the infinity sign the other way around. As you connect again with those vertebrae that are holding the skull. And then come to the center. If we really take a look at the architecture of our bodies, we'll find that it's so fascinating. Because every little piece fits together so perfectly. It's really, our bodies are really a mesmerizing creation. So let's come on to all fours now. Open wide your fingers, aligning hips with knees and shoulders with wrists. We're going to inhale and do our cat-cow rolls, including a child's pose. So open your chest, arch your spine, look up. Exhaling, curve as if you were going to do just a cat pose. Now we're going to come down with that rounded spine towards the ground. Coming into the child's pose, hips to the heels, forehead to the ground. When you're coming inhale, you're rounding up and then arching the spine to look up. That's a whole inhale. We're breathing deeply here. And then exhaling, curving to go back down. Let's start doing a few more rounds, following your own breath. Maybe you have to move a little bit faster if your breath does not allow you to go that slow into the poses. And that's fine. Really fine-tuning this in your practice will be of much benefit of how can I make the movement follow the breath and not the other way around. Let's do one more. And we meet down in child's pose. Here you can open a little bit wider the knees. The big toes can touch and the arms go straight. Forehead down to the earth or on top of the fists. Take a moment to land into this pose. For some, this is a very easy, relaxing pose. For others, this might create a little bit more of a challenge because their hips need to open a little more. So wherever you're at, try to be there consciously. Where are you at? If there's discomfort, can you breathe to it? Can you surrender and let go a little more so that you can be totally present with what is? On your coming inhale, we're going to rise up to all fours again, aligning over the legs of our tabletop position. And we're going to stretch the right foot and place the toes onto the mat. And we're going to lean a little bit to the back without losing the shape that we have with our bodies, and bring the heel as if we wanted to touch the ground. Now this is a slight calf stretch. So we're pressing with our hands and we're moving our weight slightly back and bringing that heel closer to the earth while the toes are really glued down to the mat. You might feel it a lot or not so much. Just breathe. And let's switch. That knee comes back down, the other toes onto the mat, and then we bring our weight backwards as we bring that heel a little bit closer to the ground. Breathing here. Always in and out through the nose. And release. Now we're going to bring the right hand and we're going to turn it and place the back of the hand onto the mat. Try and see if your elbow can straighten, and what I like to call the eye of the elbow, it's looking to the front. And ideally you kind of want to bring the wrist towards the ground. Now this may look very different for you, and it's totally fine. The idea is that we're feeling the stretch on the wrist and the forearm slightly. We're not putting too much weight on it. The weight is on the other palm that is nice and flat. And let's do some wrist rolls. You can shake the hand, open and close the fingers while you do your circles, and then we're going to switch. Other hand, bringing it down. The fingers are open, and remember not to put too much weight on it. And release. You can do again the rolls, opening and closing the fingers, or shake a little bit the wrist. And release. Now we're going to come up onto our knees. And we're going to roll again our shoulders here just a little bit as we find our stance with our neutral spine. And we're going to take a moment to bring one hand, the palm, towards our crown. And then the other hand on top of it. You want to maybe close your eyes to feel the nuance of this alignment. From here, I want you to feel that you're pressing and grounding through your knees. And then the energy that presses you down, there's a counter energy that brings you up, right? So that keeps running through your thighs, up through your torso, and all the way up through your crown. Now I want you to notice now, the hands are not pressing, they're just going to gently be placed on the crown, and feel yourself like pressing with your head the hands upward. It's as if someone was pushing you down without actually bearing weight down, but then you're pressing with your crown up, up, up. So that creates an elongation. Now with your eyes closed, look with your imagination or feel your spine. So our spine is comprised by this little vertebrae, and in between there's the discs, which I want you to imagine them as if they were some little like sponges that can swell and create a little bit more space between the discs. So from the sacrum all the way up to the crown, there's a little bit more length. So if you could raise your hands a little bit more just by pressing them up with your head. And then gently keep that lengthening as you release your hands down. Very good. We're going to come now to, again, all fours. We're going to try and keep that length and that expansion of the spine at all times. It happens that with gravity, our spine, and with wrong movements and position, our spine starts to get, as we age, there's less and less space in the discs. So this visualization will actually help you keep a nice and healthy spine all throughout your life. Bring your hands onto the mat, your toes onto the mat. Let's walk one palm print up on the mat our hands, and we're going to come to our first downward dog. Hips back as if you were doing a child's pose, and the knees up. Head is between the biceps, ears aligned with the biceps, and then the knees can be bent a little bit. Now here, let's walk our dog. So bringing one heel at a time down. You can move and swing the hips side to side as you bend one knee and then the other one. And then gently coming to the center. And then we're going to walk our feet towards our hands. Baby steps. Keeping the hips nice and raised. You'll start to feel that the weight starts to shift from the hands to the feet. Now you can come at that point to the fingertips as you make your last steps to the top. Again, the knees can be bent as you're right here. And ideally you want to open your chest, open your heart towards the front. Now gently let's bring our hands onto the hips. And you're going to sit down in an imaginary chair as you start lifting your torso, bend your knees, hips sink down, and then lengthen your legs to come all the way into a standing position. Now briefly we're going to remember this sponges in between our vertebrae, how they're expanding and the forehead lifts up. If you want to try again to do it with your hand, where you put your hand and you try to press it up, you see the neck even creates more space. And now feel how it is very different to land now on our feet as we do this. We're not just rooting down with so much pressure. It's like we're just softly melting to the earth. It's like we're yielding, as one of my teacher says, we're yielding to the earth. Taking a moment here to breathe, and again notice what's happening around you and inside of you. And then gently opening your eyes. Now we're going to make a big step sideways. And we're going to bring our right foot and turn it outwards. So both of our feet are perpendicular to one another. Hands first on the hips, and I want you to feel the hips aligning, right? We're squaring the hips as much as we can. Because we have this foot open, this hip is going to be open. So that's what we want. We have asymmetrical hips in this pose, but naturally we want to square them as much as we can. We're going to open both of our arms, the same height of our shoulders, and then you're going to feel as if with your right hand you were reaching to that wall, or someone was pulling you towards them. Create the length in the side of your body, and with that length created, we're going to move into Trikonasana, triangle pose. Now right hand lowers down, left hand goes up. We create one straight line with our arms, and then we look up. Now ideally this hand is not putting too much pressure on that front leg, and we can create a micro bend in that front knee so that we're not overusing our joint. Now we're still with that length on the side of the body. We're still with that length. Now the crown is pushing towards the diagonal. And you can go as deep down as you want. I don't recommend right now to move into the floor because that will always switch the alignment. Ideally the hips are stacked one on top of the other. If I move to the ground, I will naturally shift that alignment, and ideally in this pose you would be able to fit your two very tight glasses or windows. Inhale, let's come back up. Nice and tight the core here. And then we switch We're going to do Trikonasana on the other side. Again, if your Trikonasana looks a little bit more like this and less in an angle down, it's totally fine. Let's begin first with both arms up high. Keep that micro bend in the knee. Move to the front. This allows you to feel what happens in the sides of the body, in your obliques, and then down into your triangle pose. Finding your breath and finding your presence through the effort that we have to put in this pose. It's like we're finding the effortless effort. How little do I need to engage to be aligned in this pose physically? And then with our mind, how present can I be with the feeling and what's happening, etc. And gently, the last breath, and then on an inhale, we come all the way up. And release there. Arms, realign that foot. We're going to bring now the hands onto the hips. Roll the shoulders one more time. Try to bring the elbows pointing back to open the chest. Keep a little micro bend in the knees. And hinging from the hips, you're going to move now down. Now maybe the hands can come onto the mat. And ideally, we're not rounding the spine. We don't want the head to come down if the heart is not melting first. Now, a little trick here to get a little bit deeper into the stretch is that I want you to feel your sit bones and imagine that you're bringing them a little bit further apart from one another. This will create a little bit of an inner rotation of the thighs. So the thighs are rotating inwards as the sit bones come a little bit more apart and pointing outward. It's a very gentle adjustment that maybe you can't see it, but you will feel it. So see if you can find that. You can even bring slightly the toes inward to create a little bit more of a V shape with your feet. Is also little, it's not too much of a movement. And feel again that inner rotation of the thighs. You may be able to feel that you can go a little bit deeper. You can if you want. Again, keeping the alignment of the spine. Good. And then from here, we're going to walk our hands towards the right leg as we open a little bit that foot a little more. And then bend that knee and stretch the other leg. This is called Skandasana. Now, your heel, as it is mine right now, may not touch completely the ground. If it does, if I do, I go a little bit further back. But if I stay more in my alignment, my heel don't touch. Maybe your heel does. Wherever you are, again, just feel what's happening in your hips, in your thighs. Deep breath. Your hands are here to support you. You can actually glue them to the earth or just come to the fingertips as I am. And then you have also the option to do any variation that you wish or that you know. If your heel comes to the ground comfortably, you can bring your palms joined together to the ground. I will skip that for now today. Gently we're going to walk to the other side, lengthening both legs, passing through pose that we were in before, and then opening that foot, bending the knee, and coming to Skandasana on the other side. The chest is nice and open. And again, breathing. The last few breaths in this pose, maybe you notice there's a difference between one side and the other. Now we're going to turn towards that left leg and bring the back knee, the right one, to the ground. Same with the feet, and open the chest here to the front. Now we feel the length in the hip flexor here. If you tend to sit a lot, or also for runners, this is a muscle that, or cyclists, this is a muscle that we love to stretch. Bringing your palms firmly on the mat. We're gonna switch sides by going to downward dog first. So coming up, aligning the front foot with the back foot, hips up, and then we're going to bring the other leg, so the right leg, between the hands. Remember that you can do this step with the help, with different steps in one go, or with the help of your right hand. Back knee drops, same as the toes, and we open our chest. Then bringing the palms again on the ground, one more down dog. You can stay here for a couple of breaths, or if you want to take a little bit of a break, you can come to child's pose. I like to feel how in this downward dog pose there's a feeling of being so stable, like a mountain. Gently, if you're in down dog, let's come and meet the others in child's pose. You can drop your knees, and I want you to now try child's pose with your knees together. Your arms go to the back and your forehead relaxes on the ground. Let's take some breaths here as we notice where we're at. Notice if maybe our mind is distracted with a persistent thought or theme. Or let's notice if we're repeating any beliefs or any stories. Our practice is a laboratory where we explore our states of mind, of emotions, our tones, through different stages, right? Through different positions. So your level of awareness might be very different as you're now in a more comfortable, let's say, a more resting pose than in other active and engagement poses. So we explore that, we notice. And then we also notice how that applies to our day-to-day lives out of the mat. And on the coming inhale, we're going to rise up with our torso and come up onto our knees once more. You can come to the side of the mat if you wish. We're going to open now the right leg to the side of the mat. The feet can be pointing out or a little bit in. You will feel what's more comfortable. We're going to slide the right hand towards that right leg, and the left hand is going to raise over our heads and come also to the right side. Feeling here the length in the side of the body. Feeling the breath. And feel how maybe your state of awareness has changed from the resting pose in child's pose, and in this pose that creates a little bit more of engagement. Then we're going to swing the hands and now bring the other one onto the ground The left one to the ground, the right one up to the sky. And feel the length here now on the other side of the body. If you want, you can come with me and bring that arm over the head, creating one straight line from the fingers to the toes. You can look up here, or if you want more stability, you can look to the front. Now, use the momentum of the top arm and the strength of your core to lift yourself back up. And we're going to switch. So bring your knees together. You can switch a little bit to create more room on your mat. Now let's lengthen the other leg. The arm goes up and over. The top one, the right one. The left one slides a little bit here. And we feel again the sides of the body supporting us. Remember, the crown is still elongating with those little sponges in between the vertebrae, the discs. Some deeper breaths here. And then we're going to bring our hand down. And then the other one goes up. And then overhead if you did that on the other side. Creating that one diagonal straight line from the fingers to the toes. And use the momentum and the strength of your core to come back up. And bring the knees back together. Now in this next pose, I want you to be very aware of your own limits. And I invite you to listen to your body before you move too far, or listen to me or see what I'm doing. So really tune into what's happening. The lower backs, for most adults, are a point of discomfort, and that's because our core is not strong enough, our glutes are not strong enough, and we may not have a good position. So it's a point that might be a little bit more sensitive for a few of you. So this is why I want you to really respect where you are and don't go further than what feels in your body is the right thing for you today. So bringing the knees parallel to one another, hip width distance apart. The feet follow, and we come and bring the toes to the ground. Now, hands are going to go to the hips, roll the shoulders up and back, point the elbows back, and now engage your core, engage your pelvic floor, like if you were stopping mid-flow your pee. So that's the engagement of the pelvic floor. We rise up with that muscle, and the engagement is like the belly button tries to slightly come in, like if someone was going to punch it, but you really keep the core nice and strong. So keeping those two in mind, we're going to bring the hips slightly forward, the head and the chest opens to the sky. The hands are back, move a little bit back, more towards our kidneys, and the elbows point backwards. Feel the opening of the chest. Again, feel the elongation of the spine. So there's a difference in just bending and moving back than elongating backwards. Feel again what we've been building on with the spine elongating, the crown pointing back. Now exhale, gently come back to a neutral spine. If this is too much for you, you can keep it there. You can take a child's pose. If you want to try again, we're going to move a few further steps. You can stay where you were, or you can continue moving down. Again, rolling the shoulders up, pelvic floor, core engagement, hips go a little bit front, and the head tilts back as the chest opens. Now you can bring one hand at a time to grab the heels. You'll feel here that the shoulder blades come together a little bit more. And if you have more space, you can release the tops of the feet and come a little bit more deeper into the pose. Open the chest. You can choose to drop the head back if you wish. Wherever you are, very gently we're going to come one step at a time. So one hand onto the back, then the other if you had them down. Neutral spine. And from here you can join the knees and sit back. We move gently and we take just a moment to breathe right here. Physically, mentally, energetically releasing the pose. Consciously relaxing the tensions. And again, we're going to do our closed-legged child's pose. The arms go back very gently. Forehead leaning down, and you feel this like undoes the arch that we created to the opposite way. So take it slowly and take some deep breaths as you let your spine kind of unwind now. From here, very gently rising up again with the chest. We're going to give some options here. So you can stay with your knees as they are if this feels comfortable. We're going to come to a twist. You can come into a normal cross-legged position if this is not available for you today. Or we can add a little bit more of a next step to this pose. So we're going to come and bring the left foot onto the right hip flexor. You're going to come down from the right heel, so the heel is slightly down. See if you want to try this out. Again, if not, you have the option of doing just kneeling or just in a normal cross-legged position. We're all going to turn towards the left side. If you're here with me, you want to slide your left hand back. See if you can grab the toes. And then your right hand pressing on the knee to look all the way back to your left shoulder. If you're kneeling, it's a similar thing. Or if you're cross-legged, you slide your hand back. The other hand presses against the opposite knee. And you look up. You look back. Some deep breaths here. We're moving a little bit more the spine now in the twisting direction. This creates a sense of relaxations as well from the previous pose that we did, camel pose, opening so much the chest. Gently come back first with your head and then release your arms. We're going to switch to the other side. So if you're with me, you want to bring that left foot in, the right one out, and then on top of that hip flexor. And then sliding the right hand behind to grab that foot. Left hand presses against the outer part of the knee. And then you turn back and take some deep breaths here. Gently coming back first with your head, gently releasing and coming back. We're gonna lay on our backs very gently, first with one elbow, then the other one, and relax down your head. We're going to bring our feet together, hands interlaced, grabbing the toes. And we're just simply going to here try to open the knees towards the front. See if you can reach your feet without lifting your head or your shoulders. They're really resting down onto the ground. If you cannot grab your toes, you can grab your knees, you can grab your shins. But ideally we're from the hips to the crown, to the back of the head actually, really resting down. Now if you have your hands on your toes, you're going to grab the outside of each foot and you're going to bring your heels to the sky as you bend your knees outside as if they were we're coming to happy baby, so ideally in this pose it's kind of like the knees want to come down towards the armpits. The foot is flexed, so the heel is pointing up. If you can't reach with your hands comfortably, relaxing your shoulders and your head, you come and grab the back of your knees. You can move a little bit side to side with your happy baby pose. If you want, you can stretch one leg and bend the other one a little more. Or stretch both legs. And then you have the choice here to add anything extra to your practice. You can do a lying twist. You can do a reclined butterfly. You can do an inversion. Whatever it is that you want, you can take some minutes here to add what you need to really feel what your body is asking right now, more than what your mind wants you to do. Maybe you want to come already into Shavasana. That's fine. You can join me in a lying twist if you wish, dropping both knees together to one side and looking to the opposite. If you're doing something on one side, maybe take the time now to switch to the other side. And gently winding down now from whatever you're doing, kind of wrapping it up as you start finding your last pose, Shavasana, the relaxation pose. So legs are straight and a little bit away from one another. The toes can fall to the sides. Arms by the sides of the body, palms facing up, and there's some space between the arms and the thighs. You can do the sacrum adjustment with me if you want. You can press the ground firmly with your heels as you lift yourself, the hips up from the mat. Engage your glutes, and before you release the engagement of the glutes, bring yourself down, your sacrum down to the earth, the lower back to the earth, and then release completely the muscle engagement. Soften and melt your body onto the ground. Stay here in this position as I will guide you into a relaxation. So you stay laying down. We're going to be using our voice to create reverberations throughout our bodies. So sound is a very powerful tool that is used in yoga, not just in asana postures, but in yoga practice, to attain and get into very deep states of concentration and meditation. Right now we'll use it to create a wave of relaxation and of focusing attention. All of this practices in yoga that we do, whether it is the poses or the breath or sound, is to cultivate awareness. And this cultivation is what we want to bring outside of our laboratory, outside of our mats. So laying here, we're going to listen to my voice. I will guide you through this exercise. If you at any point get lost in dream or in thought, come back to my voice and restart where I am. So we're going to relax our toes, consciously traveling to these body parts and expanding them, opening them, softening them as much as it's available to us. So the toes, the soles of our feet, the tops of our feet, our ankle, our shins, our calves, the knee, to the sides, to the front, to the back. Relaxing our thighs, our inner thighs, the back, the hamstrings, the quads. Relaxing the glutes, the hips, the growing area. From the hips to the toes, we're going to focus in this part of the body as we will create the sound of ah. I want you to feel the sound reverberating, resonating, vibrating in that lower part of the body. If you don't feel it, try to imagine that it's coming from there. We're going to do it 3 times. Let's inhale. The lower part of our body reverberating, rippling with this vibration, this energy of our own voice, attuning to our own sacred vibration. Now bringing your attention and relaxing the abdominal area and all the organs in there. Relaxing the lower back, the lumbar spine. Relaxing the middle back and the upper back. Relaxing the diaphragm, the chest, lungs and heart, the ribs. Relaxing the fingertips, the fingers, the palms, the backs of the hand. Relaxing the wrists, the forearms, the elbows, the arms, all the way up to the shoulders. Focusing from the shoulders to the hips and this torso area of our body. We're going to reverberate the sound of ooh 3 times. Let's inhale. Ooh. Feeling the sound reaching every nook and cranny of our torso. Then moving on to relaxing the neck, the throat, the chin, the jaw, the gums, the tongue, relaxing the cheeks, the nostrils, the eyelids, the eyeballs, relaxing the eyebrows, the eyebrow center, relaxing the temples, relaxing the ears, the back of the skull, and the top of the head, from the neck to the crown. We will vibrate a humming sound 3 times. Let's inhale. And now we're gonna join the 3 sounds, moving the energy from our toes to our crown with the sound. We're gonna do an You gently have your mouth open and you slowly close it, and ideally the the happening in the same length. And feel the vibration from the toes to the head. As you do it, we're going to do it 3 times. Let's inhale. Feeling the rippling sound, the vibration all throughout our bodies, creating a deeper sense of relaxation and of presence, of awareness. As you feel ready, you can start gently wiggling your toes and moving your fingers, gently inviting some movement now into the body. Letting the movement expand to the ankles, to the wrists, to the head. You can move the head side to side. Bringing the arms overhead, expanding. Then bringing the knees onto the chest. And rolling onto a child's pose on any side you wish. We're going to have to edit that, at least towards the end. And then from your child's pose, you can press your bottom elbow and your top hand to come up into a seated position, joining me. Resting your hands on your lap, palms can be facing up. The inner gaze on and the eyes closed. Sensing from the inside out if anything has switched from the beginning of the practice until now. Noticing in your physical dimension, in your mental, in your emotional, how you are right now. On a coming inhale, we're going to bring together our palms joined in front of our chest, and let's rethink our intention. Kind of doing an evaluation of where we're at with it. What does it need for that seed to keep on sprouting? See what else we need to do to keep on cultivating that which we want to implement into our life, so that we can walk step by step without a rush to where we want to go, to who we want to be, to how we want to feel and what we want to believe. Assimilating and digesting this practice so that we can be nourished fully by it. And then we also altruistically offer the benefits of taking this time of nourishing our bodies and our minds. We offer it for the benefit of all. When I heal, you heal. When I free myself, I free you too. So with those intentions, I will chant the closing mantra for our session. Om Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinah, Sarve Santu Niramaya, Sarve Bhadrani Pashantu, Ma Kaschid Dukkha Bhag Bhavet. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Bowing our heads down, this gesture of gratitude, of humbleness, honoring ourselves for showing up, for doing the work. Honoring all teachers of all traditions, of all walks of life that are pointing us to the truth. All of those guides and ascended masters who are guiding each of our steps as we walk each other back home. Om Namah Shivaya, Hari Om Tat Sat.